Greetings to the church in the name of our wonderful Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is our first Bible study for 2024, and you are all welcome. Firstly, let me apologize ngokuthi angeke sikhona ukuhlangana face to face, but I believe ukuthi the next session will be face to face. The Bible study, which is going to continue every once a month on the date we are going to agree upon. I have decided that on this first session of the Bible study, I first introduce to you the church, which is Assemblies of God, back to God. How is it structured? We are going to talk about the services of the Assemblies of God, back to God, and we are also going to talk about what do we as the Assemblies of God believe in. So starting from the structure of the Assemblies of God, allow me to start from the top, but also remember that this is just a summary. So the details will be when we meet face to face, or if you have got any questions about the structure of the Assemblies of God. So we're starting from the top. Our toppest leadership in the Assemblies of God, back to God, it is the executive, which is made up of 12 members, which is the chairman, the deputy chairman, the secretary, the deputy secretary, the three trustees, and 5 additional members. That is the executive. We also have got another body which is called Back to God, which is the evangelical wing of the Assemblies of God, back to God. We also have got the teaching team, or let me just speak about their responsibilities. The responsibility of the executive in the Assemblies of God is the administration of the Assemblies of God, and the responsibility of the back to God, it is the evangelizing, the evangelical wing of the Assemblies of God. And we also have got the teaching team. The teaching team are like the apostles. They are the ones who teaches the doctrine of the church. They are the ones who teaches the doctrine of the church. So we've got 3 bodies that are at the top leadership of the Assemblies of God. We've got the executive, we've got the back to God, we've got the teaching team. Coming down, now those were the national leadership. Now we've got a regional leadership. The Assemblies of God, because of its size, it was demarcated into regions. I'm just going to make example of a few, just to give you an example of what I am talking about. But I am going to make more examples about the Eastern Reef, within which we are, because we are under the Eastern Reef. But the regions, e.g., as I said, we've got the Eastern Reef, which begins from Joburg and goes all the way to Pretoria and the surroundings. We've got the Western Reef, which starts from Soweto and go to that other side. You've got your Limpopo, you've got your Western Cape. Eastern Cape is divided into many more other regions because it is big. You've got your Transkei, you've got your Border, you've got your Glen Grey, etc. and etc. You've got your Lesotho, you've got your Swaziland. Those are the regions. So those regions have got committees as well, which are called the Regional Council Committee. Each region elects 6 members of the Regional Council Committee from all the pastors in that region. So that is the Regional Council Committee. They've got their own offices in different regions from within which they exercise their rights. So from the executive back to core teaching team, the next level of our leadership is the regional council. We've got our regional council committee in the Eastern Reef, and the office is in Brakpan. So from there we've got local churches. In the regions, there's local churches that make up that region. So even in the locals, there's leadership. And in the locals, depending on how big the locals are, if it is big enough, we've got the leadership of elders and deacons. We've got the leadership of elders and deacons. Or if the church is small, we've got leadership called the church board that leads in the church with the pastor. The elders and deacons lead with the local pastor, or the church board lead with the local pastor. The local pastor forms part of those local leadership. Those leaderships from the local, those leaders from the local are looking after umsebenzi we-local wonke. That means umsebenzi we-local sinama-groups, sinenkonzo zamadoda, sinenkonzo zomama, sinenkonzo zabantu abatsha, sinenkonzo zosisi, sinenkonzo ze-Sunday school. Without forgetting ukuthi also between the RCC, which is the Regional Council Committee, and the executive, kukhona another group of leaders called the organizers, which are elected from these groups, yamadoda, yomama, yosisi, yamantombazana, neye-Sunday school. So which means there's organizers for each group. Kunama organizer wamadoda, kunama organizer womama, kunama organizer wabantu abatsha, kunama organizer wosisi, kunama organizer we-Sunday school. Ngicela ukuyifaka nechoir because it also forms part of i-group ka-local. Nayo eba ne-committee yayo, also enama organizers wayo. Now, all these groups, I said they've got organizers, so that is another group of leadership. But locally now, when the organizers are elected, they operate nationally. They operate nationally from within the region, but they can go even outside their regions, depending on their deployment by the leaders of the organizers. But locally as well, we've got leadership. I spoke about the elders and deacons and the church board. But also these groups, ngoba zikhonza nje amadoda, omama, abantu abatsha, osisi, i-Sunday school, they also have got committees. Most of the time, we elect 7-member committee for each structure, which is there's going to be a chairperson for each structure, there's going to be a vice chairperson for each structure, there's going to be a secretary for each structure, and the vice secretary. There's going to be a treasurer and vice treasurer and the additional member. So there's each group has got a committee made up of 7 members. Let me start from the beginning again, from local now. Local, firstly, sine local church, enama groups. Ama-groups sitheke zinkonzo zamadoda, zinkonzo zomama, zinkonzo zabantu abatsha, zinkonzo zosisi, zinkonzo zika-Sunday school, kube yichoir. And then ngama-committees lawo, lama-groups anama-committees. And then on top of that, we've got the leadership that looks after all those. The top leadership of the local church, ngumfundisi ehambisana if ibandla likhulu nama elders and deacons. If ibandla lincinci liphethwe i-church board. Then from the local churches report to the regional council committees. Remember, we've got regions in the Assemblies of God. Making an example, the Eastern Reef, le esikuyo esithe isusela kumabandla ase-Joburg, which is Soweto ngale ku Western Reef. Uqale eJoburg ukuza uhamba ko-Alexandra Thembisa, ukugugutha ko-Henley on Clip, ukuhamba ngaleya uhamba uyotshona ePretoria, ko-Heidelberg, udlula ngako-Heidelberg, uhambe uyotshona ePretoria ukudlula koma Centurion, udlula koma Kempton Park, uhambe uyotshona ePretoria and the surroundings, or Mamelodi, andazi ngenza umzekelo ngawapha amanye amabandla around Pretoria. But that is the region of the Eastern Reef. So all those locals reported to the Regional Council Committee, which we said the Eastern Reef office is a Brakpan. And then the regional councils bona are accountable to the executive. The executive esebenza ne back to God in a teaching team. So that is the structure of our church. It is in summary, of course, but if you have any questions, please come with your questions. Now, we are going to talk about the services. We are going to talk about the Assemblies of God, back to God services. Firstly, again, it starts from the local. Our services starts from the local. Njengoba besitshilo ukuthi ku local kunama group. So kunenkonzo yamadoda before they were meeting on Wednesdays. Zonke lezo nkonzo ngoba kuyasetshenzwa zihlangana ngama afternoons. So inkonzo yamadoda noma all these groups can choose which day engazu clasha nezinye inkonzo zebandla ukuthi bafuna uhlangana nini na, but originally amadoda ayehlangana ngoLwesithathu ngo6. Osisi nabo behlangana. Let's start from Monday. On Monday we've got prayer and fasting. Umthandazo ekuthiwa ngowezicelo nemibulelo. That means uyacela kuThixo, uThixo akwenzele then ube so uyabulela. So on Monday inkonzo ye-prayer and fasting, Assemblies of God yonke all over. And uma ngabana kuhlanganwa, uma ngabana sekunikelwa kugqitywa khonzo, kugqitywa thandazwa ngo6 o'clock, leyo mali yayibizwa i-campaign, imali yokucampaignela imiphefumulo. That means uma ngabana funeka kuyobona umzalwane esibhedlele bekusetshenziswa le mali, uma ngabana funeka kuyovela umzalwane ekhaya bekusetshenziswa le mali, uma ngabana funeka kuyothandazwa kuphi bekusetshenziswa le mali ye-campaign on Monday. Sorry, I started from Wednesday and but let's start on Monday. Monday we've got prayer and fasting, ilanga lomthandazo, Assemblies of God yonke all over, which is imini yezicelo nemibulelo. Umnikelo wakhona ubizwa ngecampaign, unceda ekuzuzweni noma ekucampaigneleni imiphefumulo. Tuesday it's for choir practice. Amabandla amakhulu akwaziyo ukuba nechoir aphinde abe nama home cells amanye on the same day. Choir iyahlangana, ama home cells ayaqhubeka, but the choir enkonzweni, the Tuesday enkonzweni, it's for the church choir. And then siyeke ku Wednesday lo bengicishe ngaqala ngaye, sinenkonzo yamadoda, zonke izinkonzo ziqala ngo6. Sinenkonzo yamadoda on Wednesday, siphinde sibe nenkonzo yosisi uma ibandla liyakwazi ukuba na more than one place where people can gather and worship God. Amantombazana ahlanganela kweyawe room namadoda ahlanganela kweyawe room. Then ngoLwesine ngo11 emini omama bayahlangana. ngoLwesine ngo11 emini omama bayahlangana. And then in the afternoon ngo6 o'clock abantu abatsha bayahlangana. In the afternoon ngo6 abantu abatsha bayahlangana. That is Thursday. And then on Friday it could be a home cell day or a Bible study day. That depends on the planning of the church. Ingasetyenziselwa for Bible study, ingasetyenziselwa for ama home cells, again depending on the plan of ibandla. Ama Saturdays normally ku local are open. Uzobona ukuthi why they are open. And then ngama Sundays it was adopted ukuthi because during the week some people are working and are not able ukuthi